Welcome to Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. You're watching the Full Contact Racing Association. I hope you can hear me over the announcer. We're about to get the party started. Like he said, we've got cars out on the track. If you're unfamiliar, we're going to run 15 cars in this first red heat. We've got some great action ready for you. Welcome. Thanks for watching. I'm Jack Smackatuya, proud to be here hosting the Full Contact Racing Association's race at Haw Hill Raceway on this beautiful, beautiful Carolina blue sky afternoon in Winnebago, North Carolina. The cars are on the track. They're revved up. They're ready to go. We've got Swamp Thing up here in the front, if you can see behind me. All he wants to do is go out there and inflict as much pain and damage on these other drivers as possible and keep them from winning.
Ryan Ramsey is different than other drivers in that he doesn't claim to have any interest in winning a race. Instead, he's focused on one thing and one thing only: punishing the other drivers and keeping them from winning the race. Well, I guess that's two things. With the signature body of a Ford Taurus wagon, Swamp Thing is a force to be reckoned with out on our beloved dirt circle. As a member of Full Contact's largest crew, Rockin' R Racing, Swamp Thing has a strong pit crew with a lot of support. They roll deep and they call Haw Hill Raceway their home track. In fact, they live so close that every member of the Rockin' R crew drives to the track. From the outside, Swamp Thing is intimidating with its imposing stance, dorsal fin, and dark green paint. Other drivers always have one eye out looking for Swamp Thing. But on the inside, Ryan Ramsey is having the time of his life, calling his shots, waving at other drivers, and then putting them into the wall. Ramsey and the Rockin' R crew haven't won a race at this point, but with their rock-solid builds, skilled driving, and pit support, they're due. And today just might be the day. Look for Ryan Ramsey behind the wheel of Swamp Thing, driving for the Rockin' R crew.
That's how you drive a derby car.
These drivers have been waiting months to get back in their cars and get back into the action, and you can tell just it's written on their faces as they're putting the helmets on that they are amped up and ready to go. If you're not familiar, we've got a red heat, a blue heat, and a black heat. We're going to run 15 cars per heat, and then we're going to run additional heats as needed as we pair off some of these cars. Some guys are going to overheat, some guys are going to be pushed into the mud pile in the middle of the track, which is an elimination for the heat. And they have one opportunity to make some repairs to their cars in the pits, and they can come back out here for a follow-up heat. After those follow-up heats, we're going to pare down that grouping even further to an additional 2 or 3 heats that are going to lead to the final heat that will determine who becomes the last man standing and who is the winner of this race at Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. Here we go. Some great action right off the bat. It's typical to see turn 1 giving these drivers a little bit of trouble. These guys are amped up and they want to smash people immediately, and that turn gets pretty congested right off the bat usually. Looks like we've got one guy in the muck already. Northwest Fire and Rescue trying to get himself back out of that muck. We've got Atlantic Recovery in the gold car, number 23. Looks like Ford City Smokers, the black car with the yellow racing stripes. He's a first-time driver. He's handling himself pretty well. Got a little bit of backwards action. Psycho Billy in the black car with the green bumper, tearing it up. That is John Psycho Billy Howland screaming around the track. We've also got America running for the Rockin' R crew. Check out Swamp Thing, driven by Ryan Ramsey. Coming around turn 1. He's right behind Jason Thompson of Parlier Plumbing. Jason Thompson loves to roll that car. Look out for him taking that corner a little bit tight, maybe rolling that car at some point. It's definitely a possibility. That guy's a wild card. You never know what you might get from him. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Full Contact Racing Association live. Thanks to Derby Nation TV. We're coming at you from Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. It looks like we've got a little bit of a jam up in turn 3. You'll notice that we've got a little bit of a fire underneath that hood. Don't concern yourselves with that. We've got the best fire department out here taking care of it, making sure these drivers are safe. And you'll see a red flag come out so that we can make sure we can tend to these drivers and keep everybody safe. A lot of times you'll see those firefighters get out there and they'll put that fire out with a little bit of track dirt. Sometimes they use the extinguishers like you're seeing here. This is probably a perfect opportunity to introduce you guys to a couple of our drivers. While we've got this red flag, you'll get accustomed to who we're dealing with out here on this track.
Not only is Ryan Roan responsible for starting the Full Contact Racing Association with Andy Steelbar Taylor, but he can also claim building some of the baddest cars on the track. Perhaps the gnarliest car of them all is Frankenstein. Through brute force and ingenuity, Ryan has kept Frank running race after race since day one. While most cars get completely trashed and are spent after one race, the monster that Ryan conjures back to life time after time seems to be unkillable. There are more than 6 different Chevy Impalas that have been sacrificed to keep Frank on his path of destruction, and he's got the scars to prove it. After a monster hit in FCRA's last race, the steering column came completely detached from the dash. Most people would have given up and called it a day, but after a brief meltdown, Ryan Roan gets his composure and figures out a solution. He detaches the ratchet strap holding his fire extinguisher and tosses the fire extinguisher out the window. He takes that ratchet strap and secures it to the grate on the front of Frank, tightens the strap down, and gets back into the action. Look for Ryan Roan behind the wheel of the undead, evil-looking, freakishly loud Frankenstein, unleashing its own brand of horror out there on the track.
It looks like we're getting just right back into it. You got Murica just put somebody into the wall. Look at Psycho Billy hitting a little bit of mud. That guy is flying around the track. We got John Howland in the Psycho Billy car, and he is not afraid of the gas pedal. He is going to put it down as long as he possibly can, and whoever gets in his way, you got to feel for him because that guy is flying around the track. You got Swamp Thing taking a lap right now. He's leading the pack. It's a little bit slow go. Oh, look at that hit in turn number 1. Psycho Belly putting America sideways. That's how grudges get started. That's how people become enemies out here on the track. It's nothing personal. When he sees that black car in his mirror, he's going to try and gun it for him for sure after that big hit. From Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina, the gem of the South. I just made that up. It's a humble track. It's a small track, but it's our home track, and we're proud of it. We love to get these cars out here and give the fans something to watch. I just saw a kid walking by with a snow cone that looked like it weighed 25 pounds. I might have to grab one of those snow cones by the end of the day because it is a good 112 degrees out there in the heat. Oh, we got an engine fire out there in turn 3. Just mentioned how hot it is out there. I got to assume that that's going to be a factor in the cars overheating today. Got Ryan Ramsey behind the wheel, a Swamp Thing. He's accustomed to that kind of situation, and a lot of these guys aren't fazed at all by these engine fires, and neither is the Bolivia Fire Department. They're right on it, taking care of our drivers, keeping everybody safe, and we are so thankful to have those guys out here. They really are a great fire and rescue team, and they're always doing their best to keep our drivers safe. There you go. You got Ryan Ramsey outside of his car now. If you're accustomed to other Demolition Derby style races that you've run in the past, we'd love to have any drivers that are interested in trying something different out here at the track to see what we're all about. We think you'd have a lot of fun. We've had drivers before that are accustomed to regular Demolition Derbies that have had a blast out here at Haw Hill Raceway. It's an exciting opportunity to do something extremely different if you're used to that traditional demolition style race. Looks like we've got a green flag. These guys are back at it. As you can see, we've already whittled this heat down to just 5 or 6 cars that are running still. And here's where typically you'll get to see these guys showing off a little bit of their speed. You got Psycho Billy, John Howland, running into that first corner right now. He is not afraid to hit that skinny pedal. Oh, we've got a pretty big hit. Psycho Billy putting the hit on Jason Thompson out there in turn 3. Jason Thompson behind the wheel of the orange Parlier plumbing car. Took a hit from behind, and he's jammed up in the corner now. Psycho Billy trying to work his way out. I don't know, guys. This is just a gut reaction, but I have a feeling that Psycho Billy might come out on top in this heat. He's really putting it down out there. You could see Smut in the green gorilla costume out there getting excited, trying to cheer on his buddy John Helen in the Psycho Billy car. And this, to me, feels like a little bit of a victory lap, guys. Look at how fast Psycho Billy is coming around that turn. He's got just a couple cars competing for this first heat out there with him. And what you might see here just in a little bit is we might tighten up the heat, get these cars running next to each other so that we're back to the essence of what full contact racing is really all about. We're not here to watch a couple cars run around the track with distance behind them. We want to see these guys taking each other out, going head to head and locking horns. Look at Psycho Billy is on fire. I don't know if he just had an energy drink right before he came out on the track, but this guy is raring to go. I can't wait to get our hands on some of that GoPro footage in the back of his car. He doesn't care if you're in the race or out of the race. He wants to trade paint with you. One other driver in the 15 car that's trying to keep up with Psycho Billy. It looks like he might have an opportunity. Nope. Looks like he's driving an old Pontiac Sunfire. I don't know if that's got the power to close the gap on Psycho Billy, which he seems to be running an old McLaren. I can't really tell what that black car is, but he sure is flying today. And now Psycho Billy just trying to put on a show for the fans, taking out the cars that are already having trouble and already in the muck. So we will probably tighten up Psycho Billy and the number 15 car here momentarily. If our track staff can get their stuff together, that's usually what happens. Not quite sure how much time we've got left on the clock, but this is typically a 15-minute heat. We've got to be closing in on that soon. And I don't know about you guys if you agree with me or not, but it looks like Psycho Billy may be the winner of this first heat. You're watching Full Contact Racing live from Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. A little rope-a-dope action. Psycho Billy wants the 15 car in front of him. That was a smart move, jamming on brakes. I don't know if that's against the rules because we don't have many rules, but couldn't quite put it together. Went for that hit in turn 1 and didn't quite have the speed to make it happen. We've got that 15 car in the Pontiac Sunfire. Does not realize what a position that he is in right now, having Psycho Billy behind him on this track. I have a feeling that John Helen is going to try and gun that 15 car down and put him into the wall. It looks like he may be having a little bit of power troubles getting that speed up to catch up with the 15 car. Maybe eating my words here. Oh, and it looks like Swamp Thing is back to life. Yeah, there we go. Swamp Thing getting in on the action. He's back to life. He's back out of the swamp, and he is ready to go, waving on his fellow drivers out there. I wish you guys could feel this at home. Maybe you have to sit on your speakers back in the living room, but we are well away from the track in the production booth out here, and you can feel these cars running around the track. You can feel the engines going through the dirt here at Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. We've got 3 cars limping around the track right now left in this heat. And typically what you'll see in this first heat is all these guys amped up and excited about getting back into the action after a couple months of time off working on their cars. And unfortunately, you'll see a lot of these guys just getting into it a little too hard, too fast, and knocking themselves out of the heat. So that's why typically you'll only see a few cars remaining out of this first heat. Second heat, you get an opportunity as a driver to watch from the pits and learn from the mistakes of the guys out here in the first heat and try to take a different tack when you get out there on the track yourself. So we've got 3 drivers from this remaining red heat out there on the track. Really excited to have you guys watching. Thank you for joining us on Facebook at Derby Nation. Please feel free to hop over to Full Contact Racing Association's Facebook page. Like us there. We've got a lot more content that we'd like to share with you. This is Full Contact Racing. I'm Jack Smakatuya. Thanks for joining us. It looks like we are closing out the first red heat, trying to get our bearings and figure out what we got going on out here, guys. Looks like the number 15 car is just showing off at this point. Okay, I guess we're still going. Number 15 car looks like he only has reverse left. Trying to turn it around. Look at those sweet Pontiac rims spinning. That is one sweet Pontiac Sunfire right there. Looks like he's got it decorated up as some radioactive, corrosive poison car. Not quite sure what's going on there. A little love tap from number 15. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was heat number 1. The red heat is in the books. We've got the chief of the Bolivia Fire Department out there running the show, and he's keeping us safe. These guys are out here every race. Let's take a look at some of the action from these firefighters and the things that they do for us every single race.
That's the boss man. That's the fire chief. That's going to spark. Things going to catch on fire.
Stay where you belong.
Right.
If you don't have no safety gear on, you have no business on that track. I will come unglued and there will be issues.
All right, if you've never met him, one of the craziest guys out here, that's Walter Burkhalter on the top of that car. We are so thankful that Walter decided to put clothes on today. Last race, he was running around with no clothes on. Seems a little bit odd. If I were to pick a day to run around with no clothes on in my tighty whities, it probably would have been this one. 112 degrees and counting out here in Winnebago, North Carolina. Not sure how legal it is to have an inflatable lobster on the top of your car. But then again, we only have 2 rules in full contact racing, and I don't remember seeing one about inflatable lobsters on that list. From Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina, I'm Jack Smakatuya out here trackside to bring you close to the action that you're about to see in heat number 2. We've got some cars amped up and ready to go here. The engines are revving and they're ready to rock. They're waiting on that green flag. Just a little heads up on who to keep your eye out for. In the Waffle House car, you've got Buck Nasty, who lives up to his name. He is a crazy driver. He is not going to hold back in this heat. As well, you've got Eric Vandehar in the New Hanover County Sheriff's Department gray car over here. He's a madman. Look out for him. And Puke, Team Frankenstein, you got Puke. He does not hold back. This guy's a maniac. Here we go. We've got a green flag. Look at that inflatable lobster. He's got his hands up and he's ready to rock. Like he's riding a roller coaster. That is one happy crustacean. Yeah! There we go. Eric Vandehar taking it to the blue car. The Toyota Camry with the trunk open. Ooh, what a hit! action in turn number 1. All these guys are amped up and excited, and they want to inflict as much damage as possible on the other drivers. Looks like we got Puke turned around backwards. He's trying to get facing the right direction. Sometimes these guys will help each other out. Little bit of a traffic jam. And if you could only smell what I can smell out here on trackside, it is something to experience. There is nothing like the smell of a demolition race. I'm sure you guys can hear that, and I can assure you that it smells almost as bad as it sounds. Oh, Buck Nasty in the Waffle House car, putting it in reverse and putting it down. And ladies and gentlemen, watching live at home, it looks like Puke is free, and we've got a free track. And these guys are loose. Look at that speed coming out in that back straightaway. Oh! I am extremely close out here to Buck Nasty out on the track in the Waffle House car, and I can assure you that he just gave himself a concussion. I'm pretty sure Buck took a little bit of a nap. Buck. Ladies and gentlemen, I just checked in with Buck Nasty. I don't know if you caught that hit, but he got demolition derby styling on that car. Hit that car in reverse, and you could tell just by being close that he took a beating on that one. I just checked in with him, and he seems to be okay. He's got the key back in the ignition, and he's looking like he's ready to go. This is not the NFL. I don't know if he'll be getting in the concussion protocol, but I can assure you that that was one monster hit. We've got the man, the myth, the legend, Andy Steelbar Taylor in the Cape Fear Pick and Pull blue car. Andy's been running that car since the inception of this race, and he's got a trophy to show for it. Andy took down one of our races last season, and to give you an idea of what that takes, you're seeing all these cars out here on the track right now. All of these cars are just one heat out of the 60 total cars that are vying to be the last man standing in this race. And to do that, it really takes a lot of stamina as a driver. It takes an amazing pit crew to keep these cars running. I mean, you look at some of the damage that they've already done to their cars, and you really could have a tough time figuring out how they're going to keep them running, but they do. That's a red flag. We're going to get that driver checked on. Hey, red flag, red flag. We're going to get that driver, make sure he's safe. If you can imagine watching at home, these drivers are really, really amped up, full of adrenaline. And to be honest, they're probably a little crazy to begin with, so you can imagine the combination of the adrenaline, the excitement of being out here on the track. It is hard to get these guys to stop on a red flag, but it's crucial to keep our drivers safe, and we do the best job that we can. But it's kind of like herding cats out here, really angry cats that haven't been declawed and haven't had anything to eat in a couple weeks. These guys are just always ready to claw at each other, and I guess that's what it takes to be a demolition derby driver. Oh, some great action in turn 2. And look at that speed coming down the straightaway. Oh, and he spun around. Not be recovering from that one. Buck Nasty still in the race, driving the Waffle House car. turn one, up against the wall and backwards, and he's having a rough day. We've got another red flag, just trying to keep everybody as safe as possible. Trying to keep everybody as safe as possible, and despite the huge hit that he took in the first straightaway, Buck Nasty is still up and running. Looks like he's got a little heat coming from his engine. We got to keep an eye on that one. Oh, that's just a radiator leak. He's leaking some stuff right there. That guy likes his hash browns smothered, covered, crushed, and splattered with coolant. That's how he eats them. Got Eric Vandehar in the back straightaway in the New Hanover Sheriff's car. One of the guys I told you about earlier. Not afraid to let it loose. He's hit that gas pedal a couple times before. Buck Nasty's having some issues. Looks like he's about to lose a tire on the front passenger side. Everybody else looking pretty solid. Their cars are up and running. Oh! Sometimes these guys, they get a little excited and they put themselves into the wall. It's bound to happen. It's okay. We won't hold it against them. Doesn't that look like fun? When you've got an open track and you can just let loose, it is a blast. You can do a little drifting around that corner, have a little fun out there until the next guy catches up to you and puts you into the wall. It's a bunch of fun. And it looks like we've got another red flag. And we are back to the action, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Smackatuya of the Full Contact Racing Association back here live at Hall Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. Fans are amped up and enjoying themselves here at the track. I hope you guys are doing the same and enjoying yourselves. Got Andy Steelbar Taylor and the number 14 car, the Angry Crustacean, still running laps around the track.
All auto parts still looking pretty good, guys.
Lucky number 13 car busting Andy Steelbar Taylor loose. We got 3 cars running right now, guys, and this is where the drivers have an opportunity to let loose and show us what kind of speed they're dealing with. And Andy Steelbar Taylor, he likes to drive fast. Ooh, looks like number 60 car, back from the dead, is still up and running. So we've got 4 cars total out there right now. Oh, wow. That is one solid driver right there, ladies and gentlemen. Andy Steelbar Taylor running the Cape Fear pick and pull car. That guy knows his way around a racetrack. Ooh, look at that hit. What a hit on the passenger side of the number 14 Angry Crustacean car, and he's out for immediate revenge. He does not take kindly to that kind of insult. Guys, if you're watching live on Derby Nation TV right now and you like what you see, ooh, what a hit coming into turn number 3. If you like what you see, please share it with your friends. Let them know that this might be the best $14.99 that they ever spent. Maybe that's exaggeration. Pretty sure that is. But they won't be mad at it. They'll get to see something new and exciting, and they'll have you to thank for it. Looks like Andy Steelbar Taylor takes another one of his drivers out by putting him into the wall of turn 3. Nope, he's still up and running. Oh! And that's why you disconnect That's why you disconnect your airbag before you take your car out here on the track. If you heard that loud noise, that was an airbag going off on the passenger side of that vehicle. Just gonna run over here and check on this driver. He took one heck of a hit and he is still up and running. Still up and running. This guy has no quit in him. You see Ryan Roan, the founder of Full Contact Racing Association, getting out there on the track and clearing it up for these drivers. Also, Mike Walco. I would not concern yourselves with these track staff officials getting out there on the track. They are familiar with how these guys run and what typically happens out here on the track, and they're comfortable, and they're only going to do what they feel is safe to keep it safe for these other drivers. And what a head-to-head battle we have here with the 13 and the 14 car, and now we have Andy Taylor getting in the middle of it. Barely running. The number 43 car is barely making its way down the track. He has got some severe front end issues, but he is not giving up on us quite yet. And that is the end of the blue heat.
Number 60.
That's what all those, scratch that. That is not the end of the blue heat. That is just a red flag for a small engine fire that we're gonna take care of. We're gonna nip that in the bud before it becomes a bigger issue.
Still going, no, he's still going.
And the crowd screams, "Hit him!" as we're in a red flag. That's the doing of Smut over there in the green gorilla costume. And our driver promptly makes his escape from the vehicle, as he should. Some people are a little bit too comfortable with their engines being on fire. This guy right here in the number 14 car with the angry crustacean might be my favorite new driver. He's putting himself up for the Mad Dog Award.
Number 14.
I think Andy Steel Bar Taylor, just got himself a Mad Dog Award. Congratulations to Andy Steel Bar Taylor. If you're not familiar, and why should you be? Andy got his nickname from attaching an additional steel bar into the front bumper of his vehicle a while back in a previous race. That's cheating. We caught him, and now we call him Steel Bar. It sounds like a cooler nickname than it really should. I mean, you know, a cheater shouldn't have a cool nickname like T-Bone or Mad Dog. He should just be called Cheater, but we call him Steel Bar. And he's the Mad Dog for this heat. Congratulations to Andy Steel Bar Taylor and all the other drivers from Heat to the Blue Heat that just put on a pretty great show for all the fans here at Hall Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. And that was a hot one.
You might think that Andy Taylor gets the nickname Steel Bar from his work towing, hauling, and fixing cars. Or maybe it's because he can bend steel with his bare hands. Or perhaps it's his cool demeanor and quiet determination behind the wheel. Well, it's none of those things. As one of the original founders of the Full Contact Racing Association, Andy Taylor tried sneaking a fast one by the inspectors, adding an extra steel bar to his bumper in one of FCRA's earliest races. Despite the origin of his nickname, Andy has given new meaning to the Steel Bar moniker with his calm, cool composure behind the wheel and the strength and toughness to outlast other drivers, turning high-speed driving skills into cold, hard cash. With his dedicated support staff on the Intracoastal towing crew, Andy Taylor usually finds a way to keep his car running fast and knows exactly what it takes to go the distance. It's never a question of whether Andy Steel Bar Taylor has what it takes to be a champion. He's already proven that. It'll take a car that's just as tough and a little bit of luck to put the Man of Steel back on top.
All good. We're going to still go out there and kick their ass. But we still got crybabies in the bunch too, ain't that right, Ryan?
All right, Jax McAteer here trackside with Ryan Ramsey of the Rockin' R crew, otherwise known as Swamp Thing. And in talking with him, I just got news, confirmation that he is indeed out of the race. What happened, Swamp Thing?
I went out there usually like I do, balls to the wall. I seen one of Will's guys sitting on the side of the wall, gangster cupcake, decided to take him out. Went around the curve, hit somebody else, caught on fire, my whole old thing blew up. Started to spray on me, I started to cry loud, then it died down. So I was sitting there, I was like, well, I know I'm done. If I can fire one more time and hit somebody else. I fired up one more time, hit Paulier Plumbing, hard as I could hit him. Nothing after that. Came back to the pit, the whole motor's crushed, tie rod ends are bent in the U, so yeah, I had fun. And then I knocked out the biggest competitors for my team, so that's what I'm here to do.
Awesome.
Here to race Jimmy. Jimmy wasn't even racing, so that's why I built my car.
A little bit of bad blood between you and Jimmy Goodman at Cadillac Heaven, but it seems like you did some good damage out here on the track today. I mean, I was thinking that you were going to win this thing. Were you thinking the same?
I never go to win, but I know I'm going to take out the baddest car there so my team can win. Get a better chance for him to win, but it ain't looking so hot. Got America coming back, Bucks, all his wires are melting, and we got Holly Bucks cars, a very strong car, so hopefully he'll come out in this heat, don't go crazy like the rest of us do, and we can try to get a win.
Well, Rockin' R crew, as always, getting out there and inflicting some damage on some of the other drivers, keeping some of the other guys from winning, even if they don't win themselves. You guys are looking good out there. Thanks so much for the interview, and best of luck next time.
All right, thanks, buddy.
Thanks. Ryan Ramsey with the Rockin' R crew, driving the Swamp Thing car. Just confirmed that he is indeed out, but he's still got a couple of other crew members that are still up and running, ready to get back out there. And we look forward to bringing more to you soon here with the third heat from Winnebago, North Carolina at Haw Hill Raceway.
Yeah, I know it's hot out there. Y'all ready for round 3?
Ladies and gentlemen, Jax McAteer here at Haw Hill Raceway, Winnebago, North Carolina for Full Contact Racing Association. I'm here trackside as the cars get out there on the track. You can see behind me that this third heat is just about to get started. We've got some great drivers out there on the track, and they're amped up and ready to go. They've seen the first two heats from the pits, and I can assure you that they are just seeing a little bit of that action out on the track, and they want a little taste of that action, and we're going to give that all to you here momentarily as we get this third black heat started. From here, what we'll do is we'll take the remaining cars from the first heat, which weren't many. I think there were only 2 cars remaining. We'll take the remaining cars from the second heat, and those guys will run secondary heats in their color. And then after that, when we have a smaller pool of cars still remaining, then we'll condense it all down into one final heat. And the last man standing in that final heat is going to be our winner for today. So what it takes to be that last man standing is to have a running vehicle and to be able to complete one final lap after all the other vehicles are dead, in the muck, up on the wall, or just completely finished. When you do have 1 or 2 cars in that last final heat, that's some really exciting stuff. They're battling for a lot of cash, and sure would help these guys, being just average working class gentlemen like you and me, bringing home a little bit of extra cash after this race is even better than just taking home that trophy. You can hear some engine noise behind me. These guys are getting revved up and ready to rock and roll here, out here on the track. Once again, I'm Jax McAteer. Welcome to Full Contact Racing. We've got some of our legendary racers out there on the track right now. You can see right behind that car with the hay bale on top is Frankenstein. Ooh, and that was a hard hit back in turn 1. As we have a rollover over in turn 3, we're going to get a red flag and stop the action to keep that driver safe. We're going to check in on him and make sure he's okay. That's Walter Burkhalter, and nobody loves a good rollover like that, man. You can tell he's not fazed by getting upside down. In fact, he was born that way. He loves being upside down. I don't know how he got out of the car so quickly. I don't know if that guy was wearing a seatbelt. We're going to ask him to put his seatbelt on and stop flipping his car over. But to be honest, the fans love a good rollover, especially when they see that the driver is nice and safe. And to be honest, the track officials, they love rolling the cars back over. They get a good little CrossFit workout in without those high membership fees. And a standing ovation from the crowd after Walter gives the thumbs up and looks to get back into his car. A little bit lower profile roofline than when he started, but maybe that'll give him a little bit of a speed advantage. Out there on the track right now, if you can see, you've got the 23 car. I believe that is a North State Acceptance car in the white with the green roof. You've got Walter getting back into his vehicle with the balloons on top of his ride. And kind of surprising that rollover didn't pop those balloons, but looks like Walter's okay. Looks like he might get that car back up and running. Track officials are waving the drivers on. They say that they are ready. You've got the Hollybucks feed car out on the back straightaway with the hay bale on top. That one should be pretty easy to keep up with. And if you look over there in the corner 2, you've got Frankenstein driven by Ryan Roan with the orange Parlier plumbing hood. That vehicle's cobbled together from 6 different Chevy Impalas. That is the same vehicle that Ryan Roan has been driving since the inception of the Full Contact Racing Association. And it looks like he's having a little bit of trouble getting Frank going. Oh, look at that. Sideways action on the front straightaway. Oh, that is some fun driving right there by B.R. Hansley in the number 36 car. What a wild man. He can't get it under control. I think his gas pedal might be stuck. He is ready to get back in the action right now. Number 36, look out for the Team Ireland car in the front straightaway. That guy's got a bone to pick. And it looks like the Marburger Farms car is in the muck. Not only has Walter in the number 13 car taken his foot off the gas pedal, but he's put his hands up. Let everybody know that he's not an issue. If you can hear that engine noise from Ryan Roan in the Frankenstein car, he's not showing up. He's just trying to keep that car running. As you see, one of the drivers. So we've got the Hollybuck speed car with the hay bale on top up the back straightaway. We've got Walter Burkhalter in the number 13 car that just rolled over and kept his balloons up and floating. And we've got a green flag. Look out for the number 55 car. A little bit of speed. And that number 46 car from the Rockin' R crew got a little energy as well. The Irish car with the Irish flag behind it in the orange, white, and green. Trying to roll over his competition out there in that back corner for turn number 2. Trouble for that North State Acceptance car as Frankenstein puts a hit on him and then leaves himself open in turn number 3. This third heat has proven to be one of the faster heats that we've seen so far today. And that has not taken away from the impact. Still a lot of big hits being put on these cars. And the number 44 car on that first turn has taken a beating. That rear end is not looking so good. Oh, and we've got another rollover. Should have probably seen that coming. That was a good hit on the North State Acceptance car in that first turn. We're gonna check on that driver, and I think that might be Walter Burkhalter again, and he's out. He's having a blast. He's having a blast. He loves roll. I think he might be doing that on purpose. Look at him. He's taking a victory lap before he's even won the race. Walter Burkhalter is normally a reserved individual, runs a an auto parts company. I'd like to call it a store, but it is not. It is a farm with goats and normally a pretty quiet individual until he rolls a car over on a demolition derby track, and then he opens up and he becomes a new person. Technically, I think that's a hit and run when you roll a car over and just take off. And Walter, the driver himself, is gonna put a little elbow grease into the action as well. Looking at that vehicle, I don't know how Walter got out of it so quickly. That thing is flat as a pancake, but Walter is out and he is safe, and we're happy for that. Let's see if we can grab Walter, get out there on the track, and see if we can talk to him about what his plans are. Hey, Walter! Can you, we're talking to the camera over here. Can you, how you feeling right now? I've never seen,
man. Hard beating, but having a ball.
I've never seen somebody get so excited after rolling a car over.
Rolling over all day.
Twice.
That's all I'm gonna do all day is roll over.
How are you getting out of this vehicle so quickly?
Pressure. Pressure.
Like a rat, man.
He's like a rat. All right, well, keep it up. Are you getting back in it? Are you still running?
Yeah, I see some transmission fluid, but I'm gonna try it.
All right. Guys, you might not believe this, but the car that just rolled over in turn number 1 over here, Walter Burkhalter, has got that car back up and running after 2 rollovers, and he is still driving. And I don't know. I hope that shows you a little bit about what it takes to be a full contact racing driver. These guys don't have a lot of quit in them. They really want that cash. They really want that trophy. And they really have a lot of pride in what they do out here on the track. Thank you for joining us. This is Full Contact Racing at Haw Hill Raceway. Gentlemen, that's in the Frankenstein car, that green car on that back straightaway. That's FCRA's own Ryan Roan. Oh, and he's trying to get the Hollybucks car out of the track completely. Sounds like the Irish car is having some trouble. That does not sound good. Might want to get the mechanic to take a look at that one. Ryan Roan trying to stay in it. Once again, he's running the same car that he's been running since day 1 of starting the Full Contact Racing Association over 3 years ago. Watch out there. Oh, and not quite as bad as we thought it might be. If you can hear that number 36 car, I'm not sure if you can diagnose that issue just based on sound, but it sounds really bad. Ryan Roan trying to make some room out there on the track to get out of the back straightaway, and he's free, setting the pace for the other drivers. Somehow still alive and running in the Frankenstein car, followed closely by the number 36 car and the Hollybucks Rockin' R vehicle. And just because you're hanging out on the wall, just because you're out of the race, doesn't mean you're completely safe from getting a little love tap from Frankenstein over there. Whether it's accidental or intentional, you can never be quite sure that you're completely out of harm's way, despite being up in that elevated position up there on the wall like the North State Acceptance car is right now. And with just a little bit of time, the 46 car has been trying to get his car back up and running, and it looks like he got something figured out. That's one of the Rockin' R drivers. And we got Vin Ramsey driving the Hollybucks car in the back straightaway, setting the pace. And that turn one action is intense right now. Looks like we've got some smoke coming out of that number 36 car in that back straightaway. And we've got a red flag. We're gonna take a break.
Come on, you sandbagger.
And keep it safe for these gentlemen.
Hit him. Back up and hit him. Hit him back there.
Try and figure out what we need to do to keep these guys safe, clear up the track a little bit. Make some room for Walter Burkhalter to roll his car again. Walter Burkhalter, if you can take a look at Walter Burkhalter's car after being rolled twice, he has essentially flattened that car. Oh, and he's taking a look at the engine now, so we can't see the new and improved sleek design of his roofline right now, but I can assure you that that car is a good 12 to 14 inches lower than it was when he began the race. He's just getting in there and tweaking some tweaking some things in his engine, checking his oil, making sure that his check engine light's not on. And he is amped up and ready to get back into it. North State Acceptance car looks like they are running in reverse only. We've got a few guys out here that are still running. And these engines are cranking back up, and we're ready to get this third heat back up and running. These cars are running hot right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not quite sure how much longer they've got left, but they are ready to go, and we've got a green flag, and we're back in it. As much as you can call this back in it, these vehicles are hurting pretty bad. This is what we do out here in the Full Contact Racing Association. Sometimes we get lucky and, oh, and there you go, a little bit of mud for you. These cars are falling apart right now, and that blue car is barely able to steer his own vehicle. Walter Burkhalter, the one that rolled his car over a few times, he's got a really sketchy passenger side front tire, and he's barely moving. And I believe I may have just heard his car die out completely. No, he's still running. That's one tough Nissan Maxima.
Still willing to fight. We're still able to fight.
We've got the Hollybucks car with the hay bale on top. Looks like he's got a really solid car that's still running pretty well. The Dilly Dilly car dragging a bumper, doesn't have any front tires on the front of his vehicle. That is all rim, and he's still getting some traction out there on the track, just barely. I don't know how he's keeping that thing straight. Oh, and here comes Hollybucks trying to put a hit on the Dilly Dilly car, and he does, right into Walter Burkhalter, and now those guys are locked up, trying to get out to that first straightaway. Spraying mud all over the place without any rubber on his front tires at all. And I'm not going to say for sure right now, but I've got a hunch that Walter Burkhalter is out, and just as I say that, he gets it back up and running, and he is still in it. This guy will not quit. Just as this blue Dilly Dilly car over here in turn 4, he is not giving up. And Hollybucks wants him to give up. And this might be the hit that does it. That's not going to be good for the blue Dilly Dilly car. I think that might have been the one that takes him out. And if it wasn't, it looks like Walter Burkhalter's going back for a second helping. And a little bit of a sandwich between Walter Burkhalter and the Hollybucks hay bale car. They are not letting up on the Dilly Dilly car, who is unable to move anyway. But they're just adding insult to injury and pouring salt in the wound and making sure that he doesn't get in the pit and fix his car for the next heat. And from the looks of it, I do not think that that is going to happen. It looks like that Dilly Dilly car is donezo. And we've got 2 cars left in this third heat. We've got the Hollybucks car driven by Finn Ramsey, as well as the number 13 car driven by Walter Rollover Burkhalter, who has already put it on the roof 2 times this heat. And red flag, that signals the end of the third heat. And man, have we done some damage in these first 3 heats. Not many cars remaining. Not a whole lot of cars out there running on the track, but I'm sure we'll have some more action coming up for you here shortly as we sort through all the wreckage and everybody figures out what they need to do to their vehicles to get them back up and running and back out on the track. As Walter Burkhalter wipes himself off and gets ready to take it to the pits to fix what he can, but try and get out on the track with FCRA's Ryan Roan, who's driving Frankenstein, and get a report as to what's going on with the Frankenstein car as he gets covered in hay from the Hollybuck speed car driven by Finn Ramsey. These guys are having a blast out here. It's a dangerous game, but it's a fun one. These guys are great sportsmen. They're in great spirits. They're having fun. They're doing what they love. And as we vote for the Mad Dog Award for the third heat, I'm going to put my money on Walter Burkhalter, the gentleman that rolled his car over 2 times.
All right, folks, that's our 3 Mad Dog contestants. I think number 13, Walter Burkhalter from Roberts Auto Parts, was the best in McKeon. Ryan Roan, Frankenstein was the best. Give him a cheer.
And right now you're watching the fan voting for the Mad Dog Award. And ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you, being close to the Rockin' R fan base, sounded to me like the Hollybucks car, and Finn Ramsey got it, but and Finn Ramsey driving the Hollybucks feed car with the hay bale on top takes down the Mad Dog Award for the third heat.
Looks like Finn Ramsey won that one, y'all.
And that is a crowd participation award given out to the driver that has the loudest response from the crowd. I'm here with Ryan Roan, the guy that started this whole thing. This is his brainchild. Ryan, what's the current situation with your car, Frankenstein, out there on the track?
I hit everybody I could hit. You come near me, I hit you. I tried to move somebody out of the pit. I broke my subframe, my belt, power steering, alternator. Finally lost coolant. Overheated, couldn't really move no more. I had to sit still.
What's that like, having to take a break out there on the track, knowing that your car just doesn't want to go anymore?
Man, I tell you, 2 minutes feels like an hour. You just sit there, wishing something would happen. I tried. I don't know. I prayed.
So you're out for the day.
I don't know. I might be able to do something with a floor jack and a chain. I'm thinking. I'm gonna put my frame back to my body and chain it up. Seems legal. So
right now it seems impossible, but you never know when you get back in the pits. You're going to go for it. You're going to see if you can get back out here.
Yeah.
All right, well, good luck to you. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. This is Ryan Roan behind the wheel of Frankenstein, and he's going to give it a try, and he's going to try and take his car back into the pits and see if he can get it up and running again. He's done it a million times before, getting Frank back out on the track.
Not only is Ryan Roan responsible for starting the Full Contact Racing Association with Andy Steelbar Taylor, but he can also claim building some of the baddest cars on the track. Perhaps the gnarliest car of them all is Frankenstein. Through brute force and ingenuity, Ryan has kept Frank running race after race since day one. While most cars get completely trashed and are spent after one race, the monster that Ryan conjures back to life time after time seems to be unkillable. There are more than 6 different Chevy Impalas that have been sacrificed to keep Frank on his path of destruction, and he's got the scars to prove it. After a monster hit in FCRA's last race, the steering column came completely detached from the dash. Most people would have given up and called it a day, but after a brief meltdown, Ryan Roan gets his composure and figures out a solution. He detaches the ratchet strap holding his fire extinguisher and tosses the fire extinguisher out the window. He takes that ratchet strap and secures it to the grate on the front of Frank, tightens the strap down, and gets back into the action. Look for Ryan Roan behind the wheel of the undead, evil-looking, freakishly loud Frankenstein, unleashing its own brand of horror out there on the track.
And we're up to 8 cars. These guys are a little bit slow getting out of the pits because they've been trying to do what they can to fix their vehicles, get back out on the track. And we got a green flag, and we're back into the action with the number 37 car, the green car, leading the way. And man, is he flying around that track. He's got some speed going. Maybe these other cars are going to get a little push from the number 37 Haas car. And he decides to avoid the collisions entirely, which we call sandbagging. And we don't like sandbagging. A lot of speed in this second red heat. The number 32 car following the number 37 car. We got Craig Mason trying to catch up. They close the gap. He can trade some paint with the number 37 car and get some of that green on his vehicle. America going for the hit on the number 41 car and doesn't get it, but we got a turn 4 collision. And it looks like somebody's in the wall. Still moving though. The 37 car giving the Port City Smokers car a little how do you do? And thank you, sir, for the help getting down the track. I appreciate it. I get by with a little help from my friend. Number 37, still flying around the track. That's the Port City Auto Parts car with Haas behind the wheel. And it looks like our favorite Pontiac Sunfire, the number 15 car, has lost the front driver's side tire, but he's still making his way around the track. And it looks like we got a car overheating in turn 2. As the number 32 car tries to close the distance between the number 37 car. Look at how beautiful that flag looks going around the track as America makes his way around the track. So America coming around that front straightaway, making his way to the first turn, letting off the gas pedal just a little bit as we see the number 37 car get spun sideways. Not quite in the muck, but close as the 32 car driven by Greg Mason doing a little damage. He sure sounds mean. That's one of the drivers out of Ryan's Automotive. And he is not done with that 37 car. Greg is on a rampage. He's trying to catch up, trying to close the distance, and this might be the moment that he does it. And he gets him. Ooh, a little bit too much braking. And we've got a little bit of a traffic jam in that first couple of turns there, and the number 37 car is free. And zipping down that back straightaway, followed by number 41. Close behind. And number 32, his car just sounds angry. He wants some redemption. He wants that trophy. He's going for it. There's no stopping Greg Mason as 41 goes into the muck, and it looks like the 41 car is out. He is not getting out of that muck. I'd be very surprised if he did. Good luck, buddy. You're not getting out of there. And it looks like we're down to the number 32 car of Greg Mason. We've got America, and we've got number 41 desperately trying to get out of that muck. My money is on no, not getting out of the muck. As the number 37 car, Mert makes his way around the third and fourth turn. And number 41, gotta love that intensity, gotta love that dedication, trying to get back out on the track. Seen it before, that sand and that mud is not very forgiving. If you get in there, you rarely get out. And the number 37 car driven by Haas at Port City Auto Parts free and clear, driving around the track with no issues as the number 41 car sacrifices his engine to try and get out of that nasty muck. Well, we can just go ahead and count him out for now. And Murica trying to close the distance on the number 37 car. Does he have the speed that it takes? Looks like he does, but he takes it easy on number 37 and just barely gives him a tap. Looks like some of those old sandbagging tendencies have died hard. And here he goes for the kill shot on the front passenger front tire. And he did not have what it took. Number 37 raising his fist out of the sunroof. Happy to be out of there, out of harm's way. He's considering himself a winner right now, and he's trying to get the crowd involved. He is amped up and proud of himself. And Murica not looking so good. His rear end is dragging as the number 37 car shows us what his engine is capable of. Trying to get some speed laps in and stay out in front, away from Murica. And it looks like Murica's doing his best to catch up to that number 37 car. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a race. Could this be the hit? Could this be the one? Oh, and that was a monster hit from Murica on the number 37 car. Is he going to go into the muck? Oh, and he's got him in his sights, ladies and gentlemen. Will this be the one? It looked like the one. That could have been it, but number 37 still alive, still making his way around the track after taking a couple of gnarly hits from the Murica car and just barely escaping a rollover in turn one. I got to give it to the number 37 car. We haven't seen this car out here before, and he is driving like a true veteran. Oh, and Murica puts a monster hit on number 37. He is out of the vehicle after a radiator explosion. That might have been too much for Haas. We'll see if he gets back into the vehicle, but that might have been the shot that secures Murica's position in the final heat. And the crowd is showing their appreciation for the hit as well as the toughness exhibited by Haas. And that car looks like a mess. And Murica taking a victory lap, flying the old stars and stripes around the track. It looks like they're going to let Haas get back into the vehicle and take another swing at Murica as they group these cars together. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've never taken an impromptu radiator bath, you don't want to. When that radiator goes in the back seat and you don't have the proper protection for yourself, which doesn't look like Haas does. He's wearing a Hanes beefy t-shirt with no jacket. I understand it's hot out here, but that scalding hot liquid is nothing to mess with, and he's got to be feeling it right now. If he gets back in that car, he may not win a Mad Dog award, but he certainly is a tough guy. And Murica gunning for that Mad Dog award. And the crowd feels it. The crowd is feeling it. And I don't know about you guys at home, but it sounded to me like Murica, and it's unanimous. Murica is the Mad Dog of the second red heat, and I guess he deserves it. He put some hits on those guys. He put a couple people into the muck and took out that 37 car. That was some solid driving by Robert Wiggs from the Rockin' R crew, driving Murica. And man, did he make us proud out there on the track.
Oh, say can you see in the car with white stripes, Robert Wiggs, driver of the classic patriotic, star-spangled Murica. Yet another family of the Rockin' R crew, Wiggs takes his love of his country to a whole new level, flying Old Glory around the track with speed and determination. Once labeled a sandbagger, Murica no longer holds back. Whether he's pushing through a jam, taking out the competition, or getting rolled at the turn, Wiggs is always striving to win. He's come close, but just hasn't seen a way to win it yet. After winning a Mad Dog at Full Contact's last race and proving time after time that he's got the will to last, it wouldn't be surprising if this just might be the race where Robert Wiggs comes out on top behind the wheel of Murica.
We're getting our second blue heat ready to get started. The cars are on the track. The drivers are amped up and ready to rock and roll. We hope that you are. We're about to get started again. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 cars out here on the track. The crowd is amped up, ready to see who's going to take it down. Very surprised to see Walter Burkhalter in the blue Toyota Camry back out on the track. That car sure is a piece. And if you don't know, you've got Walter and Buck Burkhalter with both pole positions. They're related, they're brothers, and they're both amped up, ready to go. Walter says, let's do this. Where's my green flag? Buck Nasty, followed up by Puke from Team Frankenstein. Man, we've got some heavy hitters out here right now. We've got Andy Steelbar Taylor in the Cape Fear pick and pull car in the blue and the silver. He has taken this race down before. He is familiar with what it takes to be a champion out at Haw Hill Raceway. And we got a green flag, and they're off. Led by Buck Nasty in the Waffle House car, followed closely by his brother Walter Burkhalter, who does not have a passenger side door. That's going to prove to be an issue. And we've already got one of the drivers in the muck. He's not getting out. Look down, we're down to 8 cars in this second blue heat. And Andy Steelbar Taylor is going to use speed to his advantage as he flies down that back straightaway. And we've got that off-road towing car also giving chase, driving as fast as he possibly can. We've got 2 schools of thought out here right now. We've got hit them hard and punish them as we see one of those hits in the 3rd turn. And we've got stay out of the way and drive fast. And we've got drivers doing a little bit of both right now as Andy Steelbar Taylor comes down that first straightaway, heading into turn number 1. And he is just blazing around this track, and he's trying to put a couple hits in the meantime. And he's got Walter Burkhalter in his sights, who digs in deep into that track, and that's going to be trouble as Andy Steelbar Taylor takes a hit from the number 48 car. And they're all smoking out there. They're all running super hot right now. It's a hot day, although it's cooling down a little bit. We've got another hit from the off-road towing vehicle, making his presence known. And Buck Burkhalter free and clear in the Waffle House car. 3 waffles for Buck Burkhalter as he cruises around the track. And that guy deserves a Grand Slam breakfast. We got 3 cars stuck in turn number 3, and oh, what a monster hit by Buck Nasty in the 3rd turn. Man, that was a good one, putting the off-road towing car up on the wall. Hard hit. And that's what we're out here for, folks. The Waffle House car, driven by Buck Nasty, staying true to his name and putting a monster hit on the off-road towing car, who looks like they might be permanently stuck up on that wall. Getting some consultation from Ryan Roan, the originator of the Full Contact Racing Association. And I can smell what the Waffle House is cooking right now. This is not going to be good for anybody. Buck Nasty looking to put on a show for the Rockin' R crew. We're going to check in with that gentleman and make sure he's okay. And Buck Nasty doing the right thing and staying away from the other cars. Getting the crowd amped up. He's excited. They're excited. I once went to Waffle House, sat down to order breakfast, and watch out, watch out. Ooh! A story for another time. Oh, and Buck Nasty high-fiving his competition, and a little friendly bang 'em up, smash 'em up, giving us some good footage on those GoPros. Happier than ever that we mounted those GoPros on the Waffle House car. Buck Nasty is on a different plane right now. He's on a different level. And they hug it out. He and Robbie hug it out like brothers because they're gentlemen. That is how you hit. That is how you run a full contact race. And that was some intense action from Buck Nasty of the Rockin' R crew. Doing some permanent damage in the back corner.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. It wouldn't move. Hey, I was trying to help you out. That's all you can do. Hey, they ain't gonna push him off the hill with us here.
Obviously, those guys are pretty excited. What a hit by Buck Nasty. On the track right now, we've got the second black heat with Mikey Duke, Finn Ramsey, Luke Stanislav in the Frankenstein car, Mutt, Cody Keeter, and Joseph Smith out there on the track, ready to go. And we've got a green flag. You're watching Full Contact Racing at Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina as we get started in the second black heat. Here taking a look inside of Cody Keeter's car for the Down and Dirty demo crew. He's rocking the number 46 car. He's got the you can see who he is by the smut glove that he's got attached to the outside of his car. We'll be peeking in on the action inside of his vehicle from time to time. You got Finn Ramsey there with the hay bale on the top of his car. We see the number 44 car putting a hit on Smut out there in the corner. Hey, number 40, where are you going? You're going the wrong way. That's the way. We go clockwise in the Full Contact Racing Association. Got a couple solid drivers out here right now, and Stanislav gets spun around on the back straightaway by Cody Keeter. You're going to see some intense action here in the second black heat. These guys are fighting for what might be just a single spot in the final heat. As we whittle down these drivers and we figure out who's going to be moving on to the final heat, battling for all that cash, you can assume that there's going to be some intense driving out here on the track in the second black heat. Got a little bit of distance between all the cars right now. Hopefully we'll see those guys close that distance. It looks like Smut is unable to get his car back up and running. As Cody Keeter gives him a little bit of a love tap, Smut says, hey, I'm done, leave me alone. Ooh! And up on the wall, Cody Keeter just got rocked and spun around backwards. Even Smut took a little bit of an innocent bystander hit from the number 40 car as Cody gets turned back around to try and get back in it. He's got Finn Ramsey locked up with the number 40 car, Mike Duke. They're locked up as Finn tries to end his race for him. Actually, that's not Mike Duke, that's Joseph Smith in the number 40 car. Leading the way for Finn Ramsey, who's focused on knocking as many people out of this race as possible. Ooh, and he gets Smith turned around in the front straightaway. And Cody Keeter tries to finish him off by putting a hit on his back tire. And that number 40 car, Joseph Smith, is turned around and looks like he's having a little bit of trouble. Let's see if Finn Ramsey, nope. Finn decides not to waste his precious front end. Taking out the number 40 car. Looks like he's having enough trouble as it is. There we have Mike Duke in the 44 car. Uh-oh, here we go. Nope. You might think that was a perfect opportunity for a great head-on collision, but what Finn Ramsey's doing right there, he's saving his car for the final heat because he knows that he might go for that big hit straight away and hit that head-on collision, but that might knock him out completely. So, kind of see that as sandbagging, but that might just be a smart move on Finn Ramsey's part to make sure that he's able to go the distance. As he puts Frankenstein backwards in the first turn. And take a look at Smut. He's still trying to get that Marburger. That's tough to say. Smut's still trying to get that Marburger Farms car up and running, and I don't think he's going to make it happen. Ooh! Got a little bit of a tire coming off of the rim there on Joseph Smith's car as Cody Keeter comes around turn number 1 and tries to close the gap between the Hollybug Chargers by Finn Ramsey. And we've got a race, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of those opportunities when you only got 4 or 5 cars out there on the track. It looks a little bit more like an actual race. Ooh! Cody Keeter puts himself into the wall, and those tires are not very forgiving, folks. So we've got a red flag here. The track staff decides to stop the race and check out and see what their reason might be for that. It looks like we've got a little bit of debris on the track. Those guys trying to keep it safe for all the drivers out there. Don't want anybody getting hurt with a random piece of a bumper flying up off the track and hitting somebody. And as you see in the background there, Smut uses that as an opportunity to get out of his car and leave the track. And he can just assume that his car is done and Smut's day is over as a driver. And it looks like the number 44 car driven by Mikey Duke puts the number 40 car driven by Joseph Smith into the muck, and I would be very surprised if he's able to recover from that and get back out there on the track. So as of right now, we've got Finn Ramsey and we've got Mikey Duke duking it out to be the champion or make their way into the next final heat to become the champion as they duke it out. They're using a little bit of speed here. We will hopefully see somebody try to put the final touches on the other car as they close the distance. We may even see the track officials maybe give us another red flag and tighten these guys up. Ooh, and Finn Ramsey nearly makes the hit that might take Mr. Mikey Duke out of the race, but he misses out there in turn number 3. Oh, and this might be the one. There we go. Finn Ramsey putting the head on Mikey Duke to get him spun around. It looks like Mikey Duke is dug in pretty good there in the dirt. You can see that back tire, but he's out pretty easily. And we've got a little count to go at. These guys going head to head, trying to take each other out. Actually, that was more luck kind of situation.
Finish the job, I think.
Finn Ramsey gathering up to speed on that back straightaway. Can he make the hit? No. Mikey Duke barely gets away. Finn Ramsey unable to make a connection out there in that 4th turn. As Mikey Duke gets out in front of Finn Ramsey. Tries to outrun Predator. Not going to happen. Finn gets him again in that 3rd turn. Now he's back out in front. He's just trying to say, hey. Get it? See what I did there? Hay bale on top of Finn's car. This is some exciting stuff, guys. It's down to just 2 cars in the 2nd black heat. And one or none of these guys are going to make it on to the next round, and that will be the final heat for the last man standing in the contact race. Hopefully we'll see Michael Duke close the gap and catch up with Finn Ramsey here. At some point, these guys both making laps and driving pretty quickly. It looks like we're going to tighten these guys up. Looking here over the Waco Doctors at their asking the track staff to explain to the drivers that this is
Trying to hope one would knock off the other before it got down too low.
That's all right, like they ain't got no generator back up.
trying to smash him up here. Name of the game. And tricky old Finn Ramsey puts the brakes on with green flag. Finds a way to get behind Mikey Duke and then spins him around in the second turn. But Mikey Duke's not having it. That's not going to be the end of him as they lock horns like a couple of mountain goats. Mikey Duke driving backwards, giving Finn Ramsey an open shot on his tire. Could that have been the one? It does not look like it as Mikey Duke gets turned back around the right way. It looks like his tires are just fine. Man, what a head-to-head battle we have here in the second black heat here at Hall Hill Raceway. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, could this be the one? Could Finn? Oh, Finn tries to pin him into the muck and doesn't quite get him there. Just doesn't have the power left in that Holly Bucks car. And Mikey Duke is completely exposed out on the track, and this could be the finishing hit. Somehow, Mikey Duke manages to stay alive by just barely getting out of the way of what could have been the final hit from Finn Ramsey. And Finn just taking Mikey Duke's rear end apart. If you can't get at the front tire, you might as well try to do as much damage as you possibly can. And it looks like Finn Ramsey is toying with Mikey Duke out there, putting him into the wall, spinning him sideways at every opportunity. But Mr. Duke does not want to quit. He's got, he must have some of that Bo and Luke Duke blood running through his veins. The Hazard boys, as he gets spun around sideways again. Duke able to keep it straight. Just barely escapes going straight into the muck. And Finn Ramsey puts him in the reverse and tries back into the muck. And he's just barely in there, just close enough where he might be able to get back out, and he does. And these guys are fighting it out there on the track. As Finn Ramsey finally loses his spoiler. He can put that back on. Gorilla Glue, don't get that spoiler back on there if he wants to. Finn Ramsey gathering up some speed. Coming around that corner, he's got Mikey Duke with all kinds of trouble, just trying to stay alive and survive this second black heat. Finn Ramsey just hunkered down, trying to put him out of his misery. And Mikey Duke doing a great job of somehow keeping that car on the track despite some obvious issues, and he's turned around backwards once again. He must be getting used to that. Finn Ramsey has spun him quite a few times, and that looks like it might be the kiss of death. If you see a driver behind the wheel turning his steering wheel frantically left and right, that usually means that he's got some broken tie rods. And I don't want to call it too early, but it looks like Mikey Duke may be finished. Finn Ramsey not taking any chances either. Let's see if he comes around the back straightaway and really puts a big hit on Mikey Duke here in the corner. See Mike Walco checking in on Mikey Duke, giving him some advice, trying to assess the situation, see if he's indeed out of the race. Finn Ramsey decides to just give Mikey Duke a little bit of a love tap. Perhaps he's trying to help him out. Maybe he's trying to get him back out there on the track.
Call this round the Holly Bucks rocking hard.
I don't know. It looks like Finn Ramsey has been successful in taking old Mikey Duke out. And he's running a victory lap right now as Mikey Duke is struggling to do anything with his vehicle. And we've got the end of the black heat. And Finn Ramsey, the sole car, the sole driver to move on to the final heat. As Mikey Duke gets out of his car and puts himself up for the Mad Dog Award. That'll be between Mikey Duke and Finn Ramsey. They really did battle it out there in that second black heat. And you see Ryan Ramsey asking the crowd who they think should be the Mad Dog in that race. Finn thinks he's got it. Finn asks for the crowd's vote politely, and do they give it to him? Do they give him the vote for the Mad Dog of that race? Oh, based on Finn's reaction, they do not give it to him. Maybe they can get a little bit louder than that. And now we send it down to Mikey Duke holding the pool noodle in his hand. That's what us full contact racing drivers use as neck braces from time to time. And he gets a little bit of love from the crowd.
We can't decide a winner yet.
Let's go!
We'll send it back to Finn Ramsey. Oh, and a resounding response from the crowd. And I think Finn Ramsey may have just won a Mad Dog Award for that second black heat. He moves on to the final heat as well. So we'll be seeing Finn Ramsey in the Hollybucks car in the final heat. And you never know who might be the last man standing. I'm going to talk to Mike Walko, who's going to let me know if we're going to run all the cars in one last final heat.
Yes, sir. We're going to groom the track real quick. Give these drivers a minute to fix their cars that just went in this heat, and then we're going to run the last one, the big one.
So this will be the final heat. How many cars do you think we got?
I believe probably about 15.
We got about 15 cars. Is Buck Nasty going to be one of those cars?
It's iffy.
It's iffy. It's iffy.
I'm gonna go out there. I don't know how much power I got. I ain't gonna be able to do what I just did last heat though.
Talking to Buck Nasty, the driver of the Waffle House car, and he says it's iffy. Just like every meal at Waffle House.
Hey,
It's a little bit iffy.
well, I wanted to come out here and smother and cover and scatter and splatter the competition, and I believe I've done that.
I think you did that. Thanks so much, Buck. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back out on the track for the last and final heat to determine the champion of this race in Winnebago, North Carolina at Hall Hill Raceway. Thank you to all the Full Contact fans out there watching right now. Up front in the pole positions, we've got Walter Burkhalter with that beautiful blue Camry and the lobster on top, that happy crustacean. Right next to him, we've got Austin Benton. Behind them, we've got Finn Ramsey in the Hollybuck Feeds car with the hay bale on top. Next to him is Mikey Duke. Behind those guys is Wes Murray, as well as Murica, driven by Robert Wiggs from the Rockin' R crew and the Stars and Stripes. Behind him, Buck Nasty Burkhalter in the Waffle House car, as well as Ryan Abrams in the number 37. Behind him, we've got Cody Keeter in the 46, and Andy Steelbar Taylor, the Cape Fear Pick and Pull car in the blue. And we've got a green flag, and this final heat is off and running. And these guys really want this title as champion of this race, and they want to be the last man standing, so we're bound to see some great hard-hitting impact, hard action here in this last and final heat as Finn Ramsey gets out in front, looking for some safety out there in the front of the pack. And he hits turn one, followed by Walter Burkhalter with that lobster on the top of the car. And it looks like Ryan Abrams in the 37 car already dead in the water, unable to move. Out there in that fourth turn at the beginning of the front straightaway. And these guys are driving quick, trying to stay in front so they can stay out of harm's way as Murica closes the distance behind the 46 car and puts him into the corner, puts him up against the wall. And Murica already doing some damage out there on the track. And number 37, Ryan Abrams, back to life, giving Murica a little love tap in that first turn, as Andy Steelbar Taylor makes his way around the track past Buck Nasty Burkhalter, who's stuck up on the wall. And look at the tail end of that car of Mikey Duke taking a hit from Andy Steelbar Taylor. That guy is dragging ass, literally. He is dragging his behind around that track. Not much he can do about that. As Finn Ramsey takes turn number one. We've got a little bit of a jam over there in turn two. Andy Steelbar Taylor must have run into some trouble. He's getting the signal from guys alongside the track that he's done for. Let's see if that's actually the case. A little bit too early to say now. Number 44 giving Andy a little smack in the back, just in case. Walter Burkhalter with the happy crustacean on his vehicle, also making his way around the track. And it looks like Murica stuck in the turn 2, trying to get turned back around the right direction as the Hollybuck Speed car, driven by Finn Ramsey, puts a hit. Second turn. And we've got Wes Murray making a break for it on that back straightaway, driving that white Pontiac Sunfire. He's leading the pack right now around turn number 4, followed closely by 46, Cody Keeter, as Walter Burkhalter takes a hit from number 21. All kinds of crazy action here in the first couple of turns as Wes Murray dodges some of that action and gets away from his competitors out in that back straightaway. He's trying to hunt down Finn Ramsey in that Hollybuck Speed car. And all these guys fighting for just the one final last man standing spot. This is for all the marbles. There will be one champion, one survivor in this last and final heat, and all you got to do is just outlast all of the other maniacs out there that are trying to take you out at every turn. And Finn Ramsey getting out, as well as Wes Murray on that back straightaway. Looks like Wes Murray lost his passenger side rear tire. He's got nothing but a bare rim back there to help him get around the track. Looks like he's not having too many issues. Being a front-wheel drive vehicle, he's still able to get some traction out there on the track. And Walter Burkhalter still managing to keep that lobster alive on the top of his car, and it's looking as beautiful as usual. Hands up, having a blast. As we see our drivers make their way around the track, and Murica spun around backwards. So far, at least 2 casualties out here on the track as far as cars go. Andy Steelbar Taylor obviously having some front end issues, and he is out. It looks like Buck Nasty Burkhalter is out permanently. He hasn't moved. He's stuck up on that wall in turn number 3. He's not going anywhere, and it looks like Ryan Abrams up on the wall as well, not moving. And it looks like Mikey Duke may be having some permanent issues as well. Not a lot of movement coming from that side of the track right now. And so when these guys, ooh, Finn Ramsey backing into Austin Benton in turn number 1. When these guys stop moving on this track, they become obstacles for the other drivers to keep in mind and get around. As you see, Wes Murray still having some issues with that rim in the back of the car. And Walter getting a little help down the front straightaway by number 21, the Dirty Dog, Austin Benton. And now Wes Murray trying to get into the action and give that Dirty Dog some love with his rear end. And look at this stuff right here. Surprising that these cars still have the type of power that we're seeing right here. Some of these guys have been through numerous heats. They've had very little time to get their cars back up and running and do minor repairs out in the pits. But whatever they did, it looks like it's working so far, especially for Wes Murray, who doesn't seem to be struggling with that back right passenger tire much at all. Looks like he's still making his way around the track just fine. And you hear the horns. Looks like we got a little bit of a red flag to take care of a small engine fire. And the driver's out of the car. It looks like he might be done for the evening, as the excellent Bolivia fire crew takes care of that engine fire, makes quick work of it. Looks like we see Walter Burkhalter trying to jockey for position while we've got this red flag. And we're back to it, back into the action with the green flag as Finn Ramsey takes that front position once again, staying safe up in front of the other drivers, being followed pretty closely by Wes Murray. And in the distance, we've got Walter Burkhalter still in the action, still in the fight. 3 cars right now, 3 cars making their way around the track, desperate to be the winner of this race here in Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. And Wes Murray still with a lot of power and speed in that beautiful Pontiac Sunfire. These aren't the prettiest cars left in the race, but it might say something about the drivers behind the wheel. These guys are determined to stay alive. They've put a lot of hard work into these vehicles, as you can tell. They've done a lot of great driving throughout the afternoon, beating out, at this point, 57 other vehicles, 57 other drivers. And this is impressive to see these guys still doing so well and getting around the track as quick as they are right now. As I speak maybe a little bit too soon, Finn Ramsey, oh, Wes Murray getting in on the action, hitting Finn Ramsey in the rear driver's side tire. And Wes Murray getting a little assistance, a little guidance from some of the veteran drivers on the side of the track. You see John Howland down there telling them to push that car into the muck. And that's exactly what Wes Murray's trying to do. And he might have him. Wes Murray, despite having some trouble with that back passenger tire, still able to put a couple hits on Finn Ramsey. And Walter Burkhalter not making any effort to get any farther down the track because he knows that if he just hangs out right there and lets Wes Murray do his thing, then Finn Ramsey might wind up in the muck. And Finn is not, ooh! Walter putting a little extra on Finn Ramsey's Hollybuck Sweets car. And now it's a little bit of a team effort trying to get Finn Ramsey into the muck, and it looks like they were successful. Finn Ramsey stuck in the muck. Can't do much at all with that situation. Doesn't look like he's going to get much grip on those tires. And 46, the 46 car driven by Cody Keeter, back in it. We had completely counted him out, but it looks like he's got a little bit of juice left and wants to make a run at being the champion of this race. And we've got a little bit of reverse backwards attack going on from Walter Burkhalter and that beautiful red crustacean on the top of his circa 1990 Toyota Camry. I'll tell you what, if you're considering getting a used vehicle and you haven't checked out the Pontiac Sunfire, you might want to reconsider your vehicle choices and either look at one of those or a 1990 Toyota Camry. These guys, these cars, they're built to last. Look at these things. If you are a Pontiac Sunfire driver and you've ever wondered how long you'll be able to drive that thing and how much damage you can take note. It's a lot. This guy, Wes Murray, driving around the track, he's a little bit pigeon-toed right now. His tires are all facing in different directions, but he's still maintaining some good speed around that track and staying out in front of Cody Keeter and Walter Burkhalter.
3 cars left.
As Cody puts a pretty big hit on Walter Burkhalter, sending him down the track sideways. And Walter, who was already creeping and crawling down the track, is a little bit worse for the wear. Not having a good run right now, but still kicking. Walter Burkhalter doesn't say die. He never quits. As Cody Keeter comes around turn 1, makes his way onto that back straightaway. These guys are crawling down the track. Walter Burkhalter literally. Oh, as Cody Keeter puts a big hit on the back end of Wes Murray in the number 15 car. And he's dealing with some engine issues right there. You can see that engine smoking. That's one of the drawbacks of putting a big hit like that on another car, is that you're going to do some damage to your own vehicle. And looks like Cody Keeter is learning that lesson the hard way right now. These guys sure are feeling the brunt of all the damage that has been inflicted on them throughout the day. It's really just hard to imagine how many different collisions that these guys have been throughout the day, being in numerous heats and battling all the other drivers. Once again, very impressive that these drivers are still out there making it happen. Ooh, as Walter Burkhalter gets a little bit of revenge on Cody Keeter out there. And he is, I think his alignment might be slightly off. He looks like he's traveling down the track sideways. And Wes Murray driving like it's his first lap, with some pretty good speed coming around that track. And you can hear that sweet Pontiac Sunfire engine still sounds mighty strong. They don't make them like they used to. In fact, they don't make them at all. Walter Burkhalter finds a way to squeeze through between the guardrail and the dead vehicle of Andy Steelbar Taylor, former champion out here at Hall Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. For all you full contact fans out there. And look at that. Just goes to show you that you don't need all of your tires on your vehicle to drive, really. And that crustacean is awful excited to be one of the final 2 cars out here on the track as Walter Burkhalter tries to make his way around, and he really is struggling. Look at Finn Ramsey. Desperation, trying to get out of the muck. Just letting him run. He's trying to get whatever grip he can on that track. And it looks like he's just digging himself in deeper, and looks like he's, despite a couple attempts to turn those tires, looks like he's pretty much committed to just burning that vehicle down, putting out as much smoke as possible out on that track. Maybe he's trying to create a smoke screen and distract the other drivers and make it harder on them. Who knows? When you're stuck in the muck, there's not much to do, so all you can really do is make it a little bit harder on your competition. That must be what he's doing out there now. As Walter Burkhalter passes the car of his brother, Buck Nasty Burkhalter, moving but barely. And Wes Murray seems to be stuck in that back corner. It looks like Walter Burkhalter, if he can get that beautiful blue Camry around the track one more time, it looks like Walter Burkhalter might just take this down. And he might just walk that beautiful crustacean back home. Maybe he returns it to the wild. Maybe he goes out and he gets himself a nice lobster dinner at Red Lobster. Who knows what Walter's going to do with that money as he tries to make his way through the smoke created by Finn Ramsey, who's stuck in the muck in the Hollybuck speed car. And the crowd, you can hear the crowd making some noise, and they're making some noise because Wes Murray, no, it's not Wes Murray, it's Austin Benton in the number 21 car, back to life, trying to make a stab at taking it down. And he didn't get very far. He's alive, but he's not doing so well. And Wes Murray alive as well. Could be the comeback kid. He was dead in that back corner for a minute. Now he's back to life, seemingly for the time being, as Walter Burkhalter almost had it in the bag, but now he's got 2 additional competitors out there vying for that champion position. And just all that carnage out there on the track as Walter Burkhalter and Wes Murray battle it out. Looks like Austin Benton may have given up his car. It looks like it's been shut down. As Wes Murray pushing Walter Burkhalter down the track. Ooh, and looks like he busted a hose. Not a big deal at this point in the race, but you got to imagine that car is already running pretty hot, and with the busted hose, he's going to continue to lose coolant, and he risks overheating and shutting down that engine if this race goes on much longer. But he still looks really strong. Ooh, closing the distance and putting a big hit on Walter Burkhalter, and listen to that engine. Still has a lot of power left in that vehicle. And Walter just coasting on fumes. Is he going to put him into the muck? No. Walter somehow able to keep it straight on the track as they make their way around Andy Steelbar Taylor's vehicle. And they're heading into that back straightaway with Wes Murray doing all the heavy lifting, driving Walter Burkhalter down the track under the power. Ooh! And he says, if I can't get past you, I'm going to drive over you. Wes Murray not holding anything back right now as he goes head-to-head with Walter Burkhalter. And look at that angry crustacean making its way through the smoke around the track. Walter Burkhalter is up front, but he can't be happy. He's got a super angry Wes Murray on his tail. Steamed lobster, anybody? Probably not the best tasting steamed lobster, being steamed by all that coolant coming out of the busted hose of Wes Murray's Pontiac Sunfire. Probably wouldn't be so tasty, maybe a little rubbery. And Wes Murray locked up with Walter Burkhalter. Now he's out in front. Ooh, he fakes Walter out by putting his brake lights or his reverse lights on. And it looks like Walter Burkhalter's got a little bit of an engine fire going on. We'll see if that puts itself out. He doesn't really have the speed to put it out, but Wes Murray making his way back around the track to try and put Walter Burkhalter out of his misery. He's limping around the track as it is. Walter in trouble as Wes Murray comes back around. And a little bit of a love tap from Wes Murray into the rear end of Walter Burkhalter. And these are the final two drivers going head-to-head to be the last man standing and take down all the cash, get all the bragging rights, and a pretty crappy plastic trophy. As Wes Murray again pushing Walter Burkhalter down the track as that back driver's side tire seems to be locked up. And I don't know, I see some hands going up on Walter Burkhalter's car and in Walter Burkhalter's car. And I don't know if that's Walter giving up. It looks like he's jammed up in between Andy Steelbar Taylor's vehicle and the side of the track as Wes Murray just easily making his way around the track on that back straightaway, looking like he's just getting started. And all he has to do is make one more full, complete lap. And it looks like Walter Burkhalter unable to get out of the jam that he's in. And Wes Murray, Wes Murray showing off on that back straightaway. You can hear the engine revving. And Ryan Roan says, give me one more. He wants to make it official. Ryan Roan says, give me one more lap. And this race is yours, buddy. And that's exactly what Wes Murray's going to do. Look at that back tire. He is steaming. But that car sounds like it's fresh out of the factory. He's got those beautiful Pontiac rims shining. And Wes Murray, seemingly the champion of this full contact race, and it's official with that red flag and that horn. Wes Murray takes it down, and he is our champion for this race at Haw Hill Raceway in Winnebago, North Carolina. And he's waving at his fans as he gets a great round of applause. And what an impressive feat, as always, that man has put together. He has beaten 59 other drivers, outlasted 59 other cars. I'm sure he couldn't have done it without his pit crew and without the beautiful engineering of that Pontiac design team. Wes Murray takes it down. Hopefully we'll be able to grab him before he takes off and have a few words with the champion.
I could have kept going. She was running real hot. I couldn't see. My glasses, you can't even see through these things.
Oh, you even got me a little bit. I had some of the coolant get me out here.
I couldn't see anything, man. I was flying.
That was insane. And Walter, you put up
One hell of a fight, my
Did
friend.
the best I could.
You really did an amazing job, and really, we rarely get that kind of a finish with that much speed. And I mean, you guys went from crawling to cruising around that.
But no, I was still crawling. He was pushing. I was still crawling, but I was upright.
You were upright. Yeah,
was
you
upright.
didn't pop the lobster.
I
I
was
was
rolling
expecting
this
that to
car.
happen. A little harder to roll a Toyota Camry, I
It
guess.
is. He might got rolled. Man, I thought you was going.
Yeah, that was really close.
Man, when you
Trying to take that shortcut and drive over you if you couldn't
I
pass
thought I
it.
had it. Thought I had it. Can't go through and go over.
Well, congratulations.
Hey,
Great
thanks,
job.
man. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. See you next time.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, join us for our next race at Haw Hill Raceway, September 21st, 2019. If you enjoyed all the action here tonight, there's plenty more where that came from for our next race, September 21st. I'm Jax Makatuya for the Full Contact Racing Association. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.